Welcome to our podcast, Learn Biblical Greek, brought to you by Dr. William Stewart, the co-founder of Teleios. This captivating podcast teaches you biblical Greek through a verse-by-verse study of the book of Ephesians, interjecting Greek grammar, Greek word meanings, and vital theology concepts. Thanks for joining us on this exciting biblical journey. Your study will be more effective if you use the Greek text with the Bible word codes, either on the eSword download or Bible Hub website. These links are on our podcast website at www.teliosresearch.com.
Hi, I'm William Stewart, co-founder of Teleios. Welcome back to our podcast on learning biblical Greek. What a privilege to read the Bible in its original language as the Holy Spirit gave it to the apostles, and which allows us to use the nuances, the historical and etymological context to better know God, that we can be more obedient and fruitful Christians. We're in the middle of a great verse in Ephesians 3:20. To the praise of God, starting out now unto him that is able to do exceedingly abundantly of all that we ask. Let's go to the text. Get that Greek version out. We start with the word e by itself, about halfway through, or. Remember, this could be a relative particle. It could be also an article. And but in this case, in context, it is or. Nuumen. So this is a verb. So let's break it down. There's no prefix. There's no augment. The root word is neue, N-O-U-E, to understand or think. If you add then the connector to the specifying ending, men, which is first person plural, for gender, excuse me, or for number, and person, then that connector makes it E-O added to the root. And of course, you know by now that contracts to O-U. I can hear you saying, that's not a contraction. I agree, but it's Greek, and this is what it does, but it does it regularly. So that's where we get nu'umen. Kata, this takes the accusative in this case, and it means according to. Teen, dunamen. So teen, it tells you it's the accusative article, en. So it means according to, following kata. In is the following noun attached to ten or to eta n. They don't match. So it tells you dunamis, power, where we get the word dynamite in English, is a third declension. So it's a little tricky. This is one of those that the extinguished consonant, the two that went away, digamma or consonant iota. In this case, it's the consonant iota. So the S is the third declension nominative ending. Okay, so you go to the root, you take off that S, the consonant iota change to an iota, you add the N for the accusative. That's simple. Again, we have ten, so this can be a relative pronoun or an article, following by a verb. So let's break it down. En, that's the prefix. There's no augment. The root, gay. Okay. The connector to the specifying ending, again, is an O, being present tense, just like nu'umen that we saw before. That O contracts the E when added to it to OU, just like nu'umen. And then we have the MEN. That specifies the passive or middle. Now, So that means it would be either worked or worked in reference to yourself, the middle. En is the matching feminine accusative. So this is a participle, a present accusative singular feminine participle. Okay, so this phrase goes together: teen dunamin, teen energumenin. So it can be translated grammatically in two ways. So the power that is working, or that is worked, okay, or the power worked. So sometimes the article can be repeated in front of both nouns in the same phrase for emphasis. So in translating English, you'd eliminate the second article. So probably easiest to translate it for the power that worked or is worked, then the last phrase, in, that ever-present participle, in English, so takes the dative, means in, at, on, by means of umen or emen. This you'll recognize as the first person plural, us. In is the dative plural ending. So, or think according to the power that works in us. So, great promise from God. Otherwise, he answers prayer or works in us in ways that were beyond even our greatest imagination. And I can certainly attest to God doing this in the life of my dear wife and me as well, my wife Jeanette. So God's faithfulness. Okay. What other note about Neumann? If you've looked at your e-sword, you'll notice that in the dictionary it says Noie, omega. That's wrong. It's just Noe, omega. That one word with the I is a mistake and doesn't exist in Koine Greek at the time of the Bible. Thank you for joining me today. We will start on the last verse of this great chapter next time. Please join me then.